Hello, thank you for joining our latest webinar. My name is Jamal Khan. I'm a senior tax partner at the Churchill Tax Group. Today we're talking about VAT considerations for online suppliers or suppliers of digital services. And it's a very important topic for people who are in the industry. And some people, clients that I've come across recent cases where companies have had to pay a significant amount of VAT where they have not been careful. So I'll do a quick presentation, won't go into too much detail, but it's important that specialist advice is taken on these matters. So the purpose of this video is just to kind of give you an overview of what you need to consider. Okay, let's start the presentation. Okay. Right, so VAT on digital services. This is about our group, about Churchill Tax, a group of companies specialising in tax and VAT advice and inheritance tax advice, and different types of disclosures, etc., and tax investigation cases. The agenda for today is the place of supply, the onshore providers, offshore providers, due diligence risks, B2B services, B2C services, place of supply. So for this, the first thing you need to consider for place of supply is where the service is being treated as supplied. So for example, if it's the UK, if the customer is receiving the service in the UK, then VAT is chargeable depending on whether the customer is a C2C or a B2B. So if the customer is actually a consumer or a business. I will cover that in a few moments. But if it's outside of the UK, then it's EU or other country, then it's outside the scope of VAT. So for example, if it's a UK supplier providing online services to somebody in Africa or US, then outside the scope of VAT, in which case you'll need to consider the VAT considerations within that country. And if it's an offshore supplier providing services to somebody in the UK, then yeah, then we need to consider. Then we need to decide if it's C2C or B2B. Sorry, B2C or B2B. So this is an important distinction. So if it's a B2C, it's an onshore supplier, then onshore means a UK-based provider or supplier. Then VAT is chargeable from as soon as they reach the VAT threshold. That's very important, and you need to keep track of your VAT turnover, which if the VAT threshold is reached, which is about 85,000 at the moment, if that's reached within 12-month period, then you need to register for VAT and start charging VAT. Otherwise, you have to pay VAT out of your own pockets on the turnover. If it's a B2C offshore supplier, so now, for example, somebody's receiving services in the UK, but the supplier is based in, say, the US or any other country, then in that case, they need to register for VAT from day one. In that case, the VAT threshold of 85,000 does not apply. So from day one, they need to start charging VAT if they're providing services to a consumer. If it's a B2B onshore supplier, so for example, a business in the UK is providing services or software or whatever it is, electronic services to another business in the UK, then yeah, the normal VAT rules apply. You have to charge VAT, and once you cross the VAT threshold. The next part is if it's a B2B offshore supplier. Now this is an interesting one, and this is where a lot of people get things wrong. Is if it's a B2B, the offshore supplier does not need to register for VAT. And if the UK customer, UK business customer, is VAT registered, they will need to get their VAT done through a reverse charge mechanism, where effectively they charge VAT on the output and then claim it on the input tax. But the main, right now we're talking about suppliers. So they don't need to register, they have no liability to register for VAT if they're providing services to a UK business. Now, the next slide is very important, is if you are providing services to a UK business and you're an offshore supplier, you need to carry out enough due diligence to ensure that your customer is actually a business and not a consumer. If you do that, then you will be able to, for due diligence purposes, you need to be able to demonstrate that you have done enough work to ensure due diligence to ensure that customer is actually a business. So you, for example, you could have a copy of their VAT registration number, their tax reference number, UTR, the business website, the business details. You just need to make sure that you have enough on file to satisfy HMRC in case they start an investigation that this is a business. The risk is that if you do not complete your due diligence and HMRC were to investigate, the risk is that you might need to pay VAT out of your own pocket. And we've seen situations where people have had to pay a significant amount of VAT for not having done their due diligence or not having made the distinction between B2B and B2C customers. Very important, and because VAT is almost 20% of your revenue, this could amount to a significant cash outflow that businesses usually cannot afford, can potentially sink a business. So it's very important. It's highly technical, especially when you look at a particular scenario and how you break it down. But making sure that you take, if you get it wrong, it could potentially be very, very harmful to the business. Yeah, and then if HMRC were to investigate, then you'd be charged VAT from day dot, and also penalties and interest. Penalties could vary from say 10% to 15% to 100%, depending on your behaviour. And that could potentially be, say, if your VAT liability becomes £1 million, and the penalty is another 100%, which is another £1 million, that could be 2 million. So something that could potentially sink a business. So once again, yeah, this is a complex area. You need specialist advice. Every case is different. There could be opportunities for you to restructure your business in a way that you save money, or potential risks in the way you're doing your business. Because VAT, as I said before, is about 20% of your total revenue. If you get it wrong, it could be very costly. And if you get it right, and if you get the right advice at the right time, it could potentially help you save millions as well. And there are lots of opportunities that I've been advised I've been instructed to advise on clients that have onshore, offshore businesses, and where their customers are in the UK or outside the UK, or however it may be. But there could be opportunities to restructure your business in a way that you save a lot of VAT on charging VAT or being able to claim your input VAT. There's a lot of case law on VAT and on suppliers and place of supply and how you restructure businesses. You could potentially be restructuring, UK business to non-UK business, and charge the same price to your customers, but not have to pay VAT, depending on how you structure your business and what your business model is. Once again, so the savings on VAT sides can be quite significant if done properly, and it could be quite costly if not done properly. This is these are our contact details. If you need to get in touch with me, you can go to our website, call our telephone number, and I'll be more than happy to help. Thank you.